Express. And joining us to have this discussion this morning is Rotus. Very good morning to you, Rotus.
Hey, good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Zibby. Good morning to all our listeners, viewers out there. Good to be with you guys again.
All right, let's get right into it.
To be a part of the conversation, which we love, of course, the WhatsApp number is 0809 444 981. You can also tweet at Smooth981. And we're streaming live on YouTube as well. You can catch the live stream, post a comment at Smooth981 FM Lagos.
All right, so today, Rotus, we're talking about the federal government approving the Abuja Disco acquisition by Transcorp. So what can you tell us about this acquisition?
Yeah, it's a major asset that was, part of the whole power privatization process. We've got discos that are around the country, which are on the distribution end of the power value chain. So you've got the gencos that generates, you've got the transmission company of Nigeria that is supposed to, of course, channel that, power that's generated by the gencos, and then over to the discos that are part of the distribution value chain. So the Abuja Disco is one of them, and is now being taken over by Transcorp Power. Now, this was during a ceremony. This was just one part of what was taking place yesterday or so, during a ceremony for the inauguration of the AFAM 3 fast power plant in AFAM, which is, I think, in Rivers State. So that's essentially what this is. But Transcorp is going to be acquiring a pretty major asset in terms of getting a disco, and it's all in line with their aspirations to continue to be a major, player in the power sector. It's run, of course, by it's part of the Transcorp conglomerate, which is also in hospitalities. They own a hotel and so on and so forth. They own other power plants in Ughelli and so on and so forth. So this is part of their plan to be a major player in the power sector, run, of course, by Tony Elumelu. So that's what we saw yesterday. And the fact that the Minister of Power was there, well, he was represented by his permanent secretary, Vice President Osibanjo, Tony Elumelu. It's a pretty major development yesterday.
So what do we know about the FM3 fast power plants? We know it's in River State.
It's 240 megawatts plant in AFAM, which is operated by Trans AFAM Power Limited, which is a subsidiary of Transcorp PLC. So I think it already has which is an existing power plant in that AFAM, which has a cumulative generating capacity of about 1,000 megawatts. AFAM by itself is about 240 megawatts or so. Basically, Trans AFAM Power Limited is one of the power subsidiaries of Transcorp Group and the core investor in the AFAM Genco. You remember I just talked about the Gencos, the transmission and the distribution. So Gencos are the ones that generate power. Nigeria's energy mix is basically mostly it's gas and then it's hydro. So I think those are its main power mix. So AFAM Genco comprises of AFAM Power PLC and then the AFAM 3 Fast Power Limited. And basically, I think the AFAM Genco power plant is located in where is that place now? Okoloma Village in the Oyibo LGA local government area of Rivers State. So essentially, it's part of it. It's a smaller piece of a wider generating, capacity assets that is owned by Trans AFAM, which Trans AFAM is a subsidiary of Transcorp.
All right. Now, Rotus, Vice President Osibanjo said little progress in the power sector, in power had been made despite the stabilization fund. What exactly is that fund?
Yeah, it's 40 billion naira fund that was acquired, that was put together through NERC, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, and it was supposed to be for the Gencos, if I remember correctly, to allow them to be able to generate more gas. There's been issues with generating gas. Nigeria is a gas giant. I know a lot of people talk about Nigeria, when it comes to oil, but we sit on one of the largest gas assets in the world. Unfortunately, due to a lack of investment, there has not been the potential to realize our gas reserves. That potential has not been realized. That 40 billion fund was supposed to be put together in order to generate more investments. But prior to what we've seen here with Transcorp, Osibanjo admitted that we haven't seen that much investment in the area. Why? One of the reasons, I guess, is there's been the issues with subsidies. For a while, gas wasn't appropriately priced because the Gencos spend money to generate that gas, which I believe is priced in dollars. And then you've got to pay them for that. And then you've got let me take you back to Tomi Elumelu's interview that he granted on television, where he was asked if he was going to spin off Transcorp Power and list it on the NGX. And he said, well, we'll do that probably in 5 years from now. And one of the reasons why he said they wasn't going to do it immediately is because there has not been, according to him, a sufficient investment in power infrastructure, lines, the cables, and so on and so forth. So until there's more, in fact, he even repeated his comments yesterday from the TV interview he gave, where he talked about the lack of investment, lack of infrastructure in the power sector. He repeated his comments yesterday at this inauguration, or commissioning rather, saying that, well, look, Nigeria has to, the federal government, in fact, he was directing his comments to the incoming administration, saying that they've got to do more to invest in the gas side for the Genco so that more power can be generated and then flow through from transmission to distribution. So the long and short of it is that there just hasn't been enough investments made. Gas stuff is very expensive, it's very capital intensive. You've got to make sure there's no insecurity. You've got to make sure that your infrastructure is up to snuff. So there's a lot of investment that unfortunately has not been made. Vice President admitted that, but said, hey, that Transcorp is one such investment. We just need multiple investments like that going forward.
All right. Now, overall, what can one say this administration has done for the power sector in Nigeria?
Not enough. I mean, not enough. There's they made promises when they came into office, and I think this is a good time as we draw closer to the end of the tenure of this administration. Now it's a good time to look back and say, what exactly did they achieve? They promised, more secure power. They promised more power supply. Unfortunately, we just didn't get that. They were not able to get the necessary investments. I was last year or the year before, where the grid was just collapsing left and right, and there were power issues everywhere. So it's only funny enough, during rainy season, there's more supply because the dams, get a lot of rain. And so, like I said, if you look at Nigeria's power mix, hydro is a big part of that. So when during rainy season you have more power, things will be fine. But then it's epileptic, right? And we still have blackouts. Businesses are still paying so much. You saw what happened with the Russia-Ukraine war, where oil prices pushed up diesel and everybody was affected. Banks still have not resumed their normal hours. They're still closing an hour early. The aviation sector was affected. So this is all because of, at least for banking and for businesses that are here, the amount what they use to run their affairs, the fact that they depend so much on generators. So all in all, they didn't do the work. If you look back on 8 years, what did we get? We didn't make any progress at all, which is pretty sad.
The WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. Gary Newton, we can't listen to your WhatsApp voice message. You might need to get your fingers out and type. So, Rotus, speaking about Tony Elumelu, what did you make of Femi Otedola's statement yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, after the bromance that they did on Instagram, I think Otedola wanted to clear his chest get things off his chest with respect to why he tried to bid for Transcorp. And so he was just, he kind of took a shot at Lumelu, saying that he wanted to take over because he felt the company had more potential. And just to put it into, I think Transcorp, if you look at Transcorp's total assets, you had everything up, this AFAM stuff, AFAM, everything, hotels. I think the assets come out of 442 billion or so. Kekere-Ekun Power, total assets, I think, come out of, which is run by Otedola, is about 175 billion or so. So you've got Transcorp's assets that are more than two times more, which are worth more than twice Kekere-Ekun Power, which is a player in the sector. Yet, if you go on the stock exchange, Kekere-Ekun's market cap, which is the value of all the shares on the exchange multiplied by their share price, I think it's over 700 billion, over 800 billion. Meanwhile, Transcorp is about 400 or so. So, Kekere-Ekun's market cap is more than twice that of what am I saying? 400? It's less than that. It's 100. So excuse me. It's 100 and just over 100 and something billion. That's their market cap. So their Kekere-Ekun is more than 5-6 times worth more than Transcorp, even though its assets are half of it. So he was saying that he wanted to put money into Transcorp and make it realize its potential. Then he took a shot at Illumino, saying that you've got these companies being run on the exchange where the executives are living a jet set life, they're flying up and down, but shareholders are being shortchanged. So, I don't think Illumino has not responded. I'm not sure if he will, but he's basically saying that the company is not being run well, is what Tedola was saying. That's why he wanted to take over.
All right, talking about jet setting, let's quickly take a look at medical tourism. Now, President Buhari left for the UK, for the coronation of King Charles over the weekend, but he's still there. Why could that be?
There was a state house, I'll forward it to you guys, a state house press release saying his dentist wanted him to stay for an extra few days. So it's medical tourism. He basically takes every advantage that he can when he goes to the UK to get checkups that should be done here at home. So basically, you just asked me about power a few minutes ago and what this administration has done for power. It's the same thing with medical tourism with respect to what they've done. And there you have it.
All right. Thank you so much, Rotus. That's all the time we have on Business Express this morning. You have yourself a great morning and a great Wednesday ahead.
Thank you, guys. I will see you guys, I guess, tomorrow. Take it easy.